It's customers first. Customers first. Customers first. You're looking good in all you do. Making new friends the whole day through. It's customers first. You're a real pro at Jewel.
The Jewel policy for behavior at the front end is the same as it is for all Jewel service and management positions. Namely, the customer comes first. Now, anybody can say that, but what does it mean at Jewel? Let's start with the F. F stands for friendly. Well, here's a friendly situation. See what you think.
Hey, what was the name of that place?
I can't remember, but they were there together.
Together?
Hey, you should have seen.
Oh, you're kidding.
Being friendly among yourselves is one thing. Ignoring customers is something else. When you're among friends, being friendly usually begins with some kind of greeting or intro. Whenever a customer moves into your lane, that's your cue to say something.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, did you find everything you need today?
How do you like this weather?
Good morning, would you like a cart?
See, that's a nice pin you're wearing.
Oh, I see you picked one of my favorites here.
Hi, Mrs. Martin. Good to see you again.
The next point we want to make is react. Sometimes it's easier said than done.
Excuse me, I couldn't find the bean sprouts. Could you help me?
Bean sprouts? Well, I don't know where they are. Do you, Steve?
Hey, I just bagged groceries. It's not part of my job.
Look, I got a lot of people here.
I think we're out of them anyways.
Come on through. You can go back and get them later.
Now, here's the professional way to react to this situation.
Excuse me, I couldn't find the bean sprouts. Could you help me?
Would you like fresh or canned bean sprouts?
Canned.
I'll call the grocery department to find out what aisle they're in so you'll know next time you need them. But today I'll have somebody bring them up for you.
Thank you.
Here's another typical situation.
Wait a minute. That's not the sale price. It's supposed to be $2.49.
Oh, no, not again. That's the third time this has happened to me today. I don't know why they can't keep these prices straight. Now you're gonna have to wait until we get all this straightened out. Hey, you service desk, can you get somebody over here?
Now, watch how the pros do it.
Wait a minute. That's not the sale price. It's supposed to be $2.49.
Let me call to verify the price. It'll just take a minute.
Notice, she didn't make any commitment before she verified the price. She not only handled the situation correctly, she smiled. That's what the S stands for in first, but it's not always easy.
Oh, excuse me, I have a rain check for that cake mix.
Terrific. Why didn't you give it to me before I rang it up? Now I gotta go back and make a correction. Huh, I got a better idea. Why don't you save it for the next time, huh?
Let's try it again.
Excuse me, I have a rain check for that cake mix.
Oh, let me see it. No problem, Mrs. Walker. I'll just take off the regular price and key in the rain check price. $59. See, here's the correction in red and the way I rang up the rain check.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You can find something to smile about in almost every situation if you're professional about it. Now, notice how the checker picked up Mrs. Walker's name right off the rain check. This is an excellent opportunity to add that personal touch to each customer. This should also be practiced whenever accepting a check for purchases. Now, how about that customer who unknowingly makes a mistake?
Hey, mister, not so fast.
What's wrong?
You see the sign?
So what?
Well, can you read it?
Don't you?
You're not allowed in this lane.
Hey,
It's
what are you
10
doing?
items or less.
Let's put the customer first. Now, here's how to handle it.
Excuse me, sir, but did you know that this is a lane for 10 items or less?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that.
Well, I'll check you through. But next time, as a convenience to the people in line behind you, please remember that the express lane is for 10 items or less.
Next time I'll remember. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
A smile can help a lot in handling tough customer situations. If handled correctly, customers understand. Sometimes an interruption is necessary to our customers, like when making a shift change or picking up a turn-in.
Joan, I've got a turn-in for you.
Oh, thanks. Now you're gonna have to wait around until we count it up.
The best approach is to acknowledge the delay, honestly and politely.
Weather, aren't you?
Excuse me, Joan. I have a turn-in for you.
Oh, thanks. Excuse me, but I have to stop for a moment now and do some accounting. It'll just take a minute. I'll get you out of here right away. No problem.
You have to be sensitive to our policies and procedures as well as to the customer's needs. Now we get to our final letter. T, which is for thank you. And here's where you have a heavy responsibility. You're in the best position to end the customer's shopping trip on a positive note.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could I please have paper bags?
I'm sorry too, lady. I've already bagged him. You want paper bags?
Please.
Here. You can have them.
Let's look at it another way.
I'm sorry, sir. Could I please have paper bags?
Oh, sure. No problem, ma'am. There you go. And thanks for shopping with us.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes the game isn't over until it's over. Watch how that service clerk ignores that customer he just finished bagging for. The more she struggles, the less he notices.
Hey, once they're bagged, I'm done.
Let's try for a slightly more, professional finish.
Excuse me, ma'am. Let me help you. I'll take these bags to your car for you.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
No problem. Just our way of saying thank you.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Here we go.
5 points. Friendly, intro, react, smile, and thank you. It's customers first. That's the mark of a jewel professional. And that's what sets you apart from the rest of the crowd.
Customers first. It's customers first. Customers first. Customers first. You're looking good in all you do. Making new friends the whole day through. It's customers first. You're a real pro at Jewel. Customers first. It's customers first.
All right, enough of customers first. Hello. Welcome, everybody, to Tuesday Night Tributes with me, Frisco Pinball, your host. And that training video is pretty awesome. I think it's a great segue into tonight's stream. Hello, Hollywood. How are you? Thank you all for joining us. This is another episode of Tuesday Night Tributes, where we get to hopefully celebrate the awesome creators in our little corner of the internet, the virtual pinball community. I truly have a awesome time doing this. It brings a lot of joy to me. There's give me negativity sometimes, but this brings me so much happiness, and I really hope you guys enjoy it, guys and gals, as a way to give back. Thank you, Elagos, for that Tier 1 gift sub to Hauntfreaks. Welcome. You now have emotes that you can use all over Twitch, and hopefully they make you happy as well. Anyways, enough about me, enough about this. Tonight we are celebrating Hauntfreaks. As you can see him in the bottom left of your screen. Hauntfreaks, you want to say hi?
Hello, kids.
If you guys could hear him, let me know. I'm going to make him a little bit louder. There's always this issue we have on this stream when we try to interview people and also play tables at the same time. So the table volume will be a little lower, and from there we will go to making sure that you can hear Hauntfreaks and see him. So the way, again, it'll work is we'll interview him and talk to him before we launch a table. When we launch a table, unfortunately, OBS doesn't like to play nice, so we'll turn off the video, but you'll still be able to hear him. So thank you again, Mr. Hauntfreaks, a.k.a. Brian. Thank you for being here. How you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there. I made it.
You made it.
This far.
Exactly, Hawkeyes, the myth, the legend, the beard. I was asking him before the stream about the beard. Why don't you tell us how long it's taken you to grow that majestic thing?
Well, I've had facial hair since I was in my early 20s, and I never really cut it much. A little bit on the sides, but this right here is probably, I don't know, 5 years.
That's amazing. I think that's a work of art. I don't think I could try to do that I don't think I could do that if I tried. But
you got to get Rick on here.
We got to have a beard war.
Yeah.
So we are coming to you live from your awesome man cave, it looks like. You got a little arcade back there. You got Bob's Burgers, a hat on some skeletons, I see. So I figured I'd ask, how did you get your start into this hobby of ours? Virtual pinball. Did you start with virtual pinball first? Did you go with pinball? How did you get what's your origin story?
Well, my grandmother had a house down in on the Jersey Shore, and so my whole life was on a boardwalk and arcades, and so I went through all the pinball and then through the video games, so it was everything. So I guess in around 2012, I seen VP.
Ooh.
And not I'm sorry, not VP, FP.
Future Pinball.
Yeah, Future Pinball. And I put it on my TV, played it for for a few months. I thought it was really cool. But then I seen guys were building cabinets, and even back then in 2012. And they looked a little expensive, and there's no possible way I was going to be able to afford it. So I played around and reskinned a few things in FP. Then I went to kind of like really dig into VP and see that it was possible to do it cheap. If you wanted to do it cheap, you could do a cheap cab. So my first cab, well, actually my cab I have now, was a $900 cab.
Oh wow, nice. Is that a full size?
Then, what was that?
Is that a full size tabletop?
It's a 40-inch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But this was back in 2012.
2014 is when I built the cab.
Gotcha.
I was playing around with FP for a couple of years. I refused to go to VP at first because it was around VP 8 and going into 9, and it just looked like balls. VP looked like total balls.
I was gonna ask, what was your VP version that you started with?
Oh man, it was 8. It was I think we started on 8. I did, and it was bad. It looked bad, and I continued to always try to go with FP and go, this looks so much better. I don't understand why it's not whatever, but now I understand. I get it. I get the physics. I get all that kind of stuff, and I once VPX came, then it was a whole thing. It was a whole new world. We were able to have better lighting and everything. Just everything blossomed from that.
Did you have a favorite Future Pinball table when you first started? Something that you kept going back to, or something that was kind of your litmus test of this is how I want my table to be if I decide to create one, or this is kind of what I enjoy playing all the time?
Well, back in like 2012 and everything, it was you know, like Road Girls or um, uh, Three Angels, all those. You know, that I can't. Terry can say who it was. I can't remember, like Mankind or something his name was. But he was doing stuff that was amazing, and that's where my love of originals came from.
Gotcha.
Because he was the king of doing originals.
Blind Mankind, that's what Terry said. Nice.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so you started out admiring all the originals. Is that kind of how you model that experience? Is that kind of how you model your approach to making tables now? I know you have your hand in a lot of things, and we'll talk about that. But when you're looking to create an actual table, are you looking to create an original or sort of ramp up and update something that's already existing? What do you find yourselves enjoying more these days?
I'm an original guy. At first, I was doing a lot of EMs and stuff like that because, first off, they were easier. I wasn't going to try to, like, you know, you got some guys that like to jump in. They just want to jump in and they want to make the newest of the new. And they don't realize that the newest of the new is so complex that it's way beyond what they could even possibly think of doing. So, you know, I just started with EMs. And then once I started looking at the EM and I go, okay, well, if I change this, and this, I can turn that into an original. And because of the EMs are all coded, we can make them do whatever we wanted anyway. We didn't have to rely on the ROM or anything.
That's awesome. That's sage advice. I know I've started to look into making an original table. I had some thoughts on Discord about, you know, where I should start, ask questions, and eventually landed on the idea of making a table based on like a mall and, you know, reviving old franchises like Blockbuster and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. Thank you so much, Try to Tilt, for the raid. Thank you, Retro Geek, for that sub. Appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. We're talking with Hauntfreaks tonight on Tuesday Night Tributes. I'll let the song play for a second so it doesn't talk, so we don't have that talk over. But thank you again, Try to Tilt, for bringing your friends. 7 awesome people coming in. I was going to ask you about your start in pinball again. So when you were playing on the boardwalk, do you remember any of some of the pins that you had that you tried out that were your favorites? Maybe it was an EM. I know I used to love going to the boardwalk and playing the Nintendo Punch Out with the little knockout button in the center, and some of those older style arcade games. That's kind of what got me into video games, along with the original Nintendo. And then pinball for me didn't start till later. I started playing Whirlwind and World Cup Soccer. I came around that era of pins. What about you?
It was the one I can actually go back to and remember was Fireball.
Oh, nice.
And it was the EM version, so yeah.
Is that where you made the reskin the Ramones, right?
Yes.
That was a blast. I remember playing that. I think you were in the chat that day. It was a lot of fun. I feel like that pin has so many innovative or unique ideas. You know, it's got the captive ball right on the left-hand side. It's got 2 locks. It's got that spinning sort of disc in the middle that makes every play feel fresh.
And zipper flippers.
Yeah, zipper flip. Yes, exactly. And so that's such a fun table. And they made a home pin version of it, right? I feel like.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I don't think it had the. I believe it didn't have the disc in it.
Oh, it didn't have the. Okay, gotcha. That's right. So you remember Fireball a lot? Any others that you?
I remember a little bit later in life going down and playing Bob Ewer's
Power Play.
Yeah, Power Play.
That is one of my top 3 older tables. Like I would say early solid state, I guess, and just seeing the art on that, it's basically Bobby Orr versus all of Canada in a hockey match. So
well, I would like to touch on what you just said about being an early SS. For some reason, right now, we have people that think that early SSs are EMs. They're not EMs. That's not electromechanical. It's a solid state board in there, everything else. So I don't
Well,
know why
I will plead guilty to that. I was in Laser Los's stream and I was like, oh, one of my favorite EMs is Bobby Orr. He's like, that's not an EM. That's a solid state. I'm like, oh
Exactly.
yeah.
It's around 1978. Anything from 78 on is not an EM.
Well, there's board solid state with chimes. See, that's what threw me. It's those chimes. I love the sound of the chimes. So for me, that's a calling of the EMs. Did you have? I know you just released an update on Big Brave. Did you play that as in your youth or recently? Is that one of your favorite EMs?
When I was around 16 years old, I had that in my bedroom.
Oh, nice! Holy cow!
So that got traded for a color TV.
No. I mean, I guess at the time that was
a big regret.
Big Brave is mean. Do you own any pins currently other than the V pin?
I have a 72 Gottlieb roller coaster.
Ooh, nice. Is there any special significance to that, or just one you've kind of carried throughout your life?
Some dude had it down the street from me for about $150.
Oh my! In this pinflation, you are finding a deal right there.
Yeah.
Do you use that pin to help you in your creative process?
Oh yeah, definitely for the EMs. I mean, people don't realize how slow an EM is. EMs are slow, like very slow. Like you'll see people say like, "Oh, it's so slow." Yeah, well, that's the way it is.
So, with that slowness, was that sort of a limitation in the earlier software, trying to find how to match that floatiness because people would complain about it, or was it a limitation of like the future pinball physics engine or visual pinball engine at the time?
I don't think I can answer that.
That's okay. That's okay.
You have to go back to the guys like Borg Dog and those guys that are like the true EM guys. And when they set them up, they play like EMs. And so did Jeff, Loserman.
Gotcha.
They all knew.
Yeah, Terry says that's why future pinball is almost good for EMs.
Yeah, too bad in future pinball you can't aim.
That's true. So you moved on from future pinball to visual pinball eventually. What was the first pin or first file, whatever you want to call it, you ever created for visual pinball?
I don't know if it was Night Rider, which is a big rig game.
Okay.
It was early SS. I don't know if it was that or if it was Asteroid Annie. I don't know. It could have been Asteroid Annie.
Gotcha. Were you creating?
It was one of those.
Were you creating tables at first or back glasses?
No, everything was a reskin and just trying to make it look better.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you want to hear that, my background was I was a designer at a couple sign shops most of my life.
Oh.
So
were you into graphic design, photography for?
It was graphic design as I did for like 30 years.
Wow. Do we know? Have we seen any of your works in public or anything you want to share?
I don't know. I think probably the biggest thing would have been I did a 48. I think it was a 48 or a 52-foot trailer for the Navy.
Oh.
And that was pretty. That would be the one. If you were local, I could go. Yeah, like I drive around and see it all over the place. But
this town is mine.
Yeah, I was.
So
I was the guy at one time.
Nice. Well, hey, you're still the guy to me right now. So for back glass creation, I know you have a lot of those out there. Is that where your graphic design background comes in? Or is it more
absolutely. What happened with that was I found the designer, and once we all find the designer, we go, what the fuck is this piece of shit? And then we take it, and then we try to figure it out, and then it was the same thing. It was just always trying to upgrade the graphics to just be better graphics. And then after a while, there's a little bit of skill involved. That's another thing that people should get into. If you want help in this thing, just do that. That's another one of those things that's kind of easy to learn. I mean, you're gonna look at that designer and you're gonna hate it, but after a while, you'll figure it out. I mean, me and Wildman can't be the only two dudes that can figure that thing out.
It is kind of interesting to see you and Wildman plastered all over VPU because of the quality of back glasses that you guys produce. So is it just contacting the designer and finding the right assets, or what is the biggest hurdle in getting that quality completed?
Oh, it's absolutely trying to get all the artwork and stuff like that. Right now, Wildman, he's got a few people that are handing him some awesome art. I wish they would send it to me, but they don't send it to me. They send it to him. But I do photography and everything on the side, so I've been taking a lot of the photos of the back glasses myself.
Oh,
and
wow.
upgrading them. Like the newest Tales from the Crypt and everything. That was a photo I took.
That's awesome. That's oddly enough the table of the week for our virtual pinball Discord competition. It's me and Tasty Wops in the final, and it's Tales from the Crypt. And I had to grab your back glass because it was so freaking beautiful.
That's nice and clean.
Yeah, it's stunning, and especially if you've got anybody out there with a full cab setup, I strongly recommend. You can hit ! Hauntfreaks in the chat, get a link to all his files and his creations right now, and you can see some of these amazing pieces of work that he's made for everybody. So I was going to ask you, are you going out in your spare time and playing pinball and going in with the mindset, oh, I might be able to find some assets, or are you just going out to have fun, or is it like a combination of both?
Well, my wife actually loves pinball.
Ooh, lucky you.
VP, on the other hand, she's like, She's like, I want the real thing. I don't want so.
Does she have a favorite table out right now? Is she a Godzilla fan, Rush, something like that?
She's still Attack from Mars.
Nice.
Or Mars Attacks, whatever.
that Williams, I'm a big fan of the Williams era tables, especially System 11s. Those are freaking awesome. Do you have a favorite modern pin that you've played recently?
Oh, my all-time, I probably will always go back to is, I love the Metallica machine. So
nice. And
then right now, if I can find one, I go and play Iron Maiden.
Oh, okay.
There's only one of those around here, and you got to go into the city and all that bullshit.
So the eventual Iron Maiden release from BPW, that'll be nice to have.
You guys are gonna lose your minds.
Can't wait.
You absolutely are gonna lose your minds.
The Stir tributes, man.
Watching, I'm telling you. Look, I'm like a small, little, tiny cog in the wheel, and watching these guys do this stuff, like coding tables like that need to be coded from start to finish, and seeing hundreds of thousands of lines of code and everything that they're doing, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, the VPW guys, and and Fishball and all those guys, I mean, they're nuts. They're absolutely nuts and awesome at the same time.
Well, I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment, except the part where you say you're a tiny cog in the wheel. I think you're a major cog, just based on the voluminous number of files at VPU that you've contributed. So we've had a good chat. I'm really enjoying this, but I really do want to show off some of your tables and not just make it about you and me talking. So we're going to start with Cartoons RC, one of your original creations. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that before we load it up?
Well, that was my brainchild, or my whatever the fuck you want to call it. Came from my brain, but it went to Board Dog, where he made it all happen. He made 99% of it happen. We also had people like Fuzzle and all those guys, and Toxie and everything, because that actually was doing stuff that hadn't been done yet. The whole random roach running around and things like that didn't happen yet. That was one of the first that could do that. So we had no problem trying to sync the legs up with the movement, and they had a lot into that. The lighting with the crazy like the dimming and all that kind of stuff, that was a Slider Point. So there was a lot of people that were involved with that, and that took about 1.5 years.
Wow.
Going off and on.
So where did the idea of the roaches come out? Because I was playing it a while back. Actually, I think we were talking, and I love the idea of it. Sort of makes it a cool, excuse me, like if you're into drinking games, like, hey, player 1v2. Yeah, we can bet on scores, but it might be more fun to bet on the number of roaches you squish.
Yeah. Well, the number of roaches to squish was definitely, that was Board Dog. He made it a thing that you could, I mean, every time you hit one, that it would score.
Yeah, I was playing it before we got on, and I was like, where did the roach go? I forgot. I need to figure out where he went.
That's the best part. Sometimes you can see him peeking out, and his butt sticking out.
Sometimes you can't, exactly. All right, so I am going to load this up. We'll talk more about it. I'm going to hide you real quick, again, because the screen will freeze if I load it up. So thank you. I'll be right back. You can still hear Hauntfreaks. He's still on audio. We're going to load this up in Popper. And give me 1 sec.
God, I hope these idiots can't hear me.
So here is your table, and then we've got Cartoons RC, and then I believe I think there was a mod on.
Please wait. I am now loading up
yeah,
again.
that's Have modded fun. By
Wilt, right?
Yeah.
Shout out Wilt.
I never know how to say his
That's
names.
Okay. Wilt, recent team lead on the Who's Tommy, another great table. But let me make sure that the volume on the table is low so I can hear you. Once it finally loads. So I've got a full DMD. I think this was from Daytona 24. Hold on. Get you off the back glass. There we go. Sorry. Sometimes it loses focus. And let me go. Sorry, folks. There we go. So let's lower this. And can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
All right, awesome. So there are the roaches. They're scattering. And yeah, so tell us, I guess if you want, just, some fun facts about the table, whatever you'd like, and then I'll ask you some questions based on that.
Well, it's based on a comic book that used to be out in the 60s, 70s, Cartoons magazine, and it was all people that drew cars like cartoons.
Gotcha. It has a very Cheech and Chong-esque vibe to it to me.
Right. Well, because the two characters from that are very Cheech and Chong.
So this was an actual license, a real property, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it.
I didn't pay anything for it, but luckily what happened with getting all the art for this was somebody dumped a bunch of PDFs of all the magazines.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to go through, and the magazine wasn't color, so you had to. These are all from covers or from T-shirt printouts. Because every month when you got the magazine, you would get a T-shirt iron-on with it too.
Oh, nice. So is this based? Pardon my ignorance. Is this based off? Is this a reskin of an original table, or is this an original design?
It is, but I can't remember. Borg Dog can say it. He knows what it is. I can't remember now.
Yeah. Board said it looks like his surf champ that he just got. I'm actually doing okay right now. I don't think I've ever. This is going to be a new high score for squash.
It was Gemini.
Gemini. Okay. Gotcha.
But what happened, I believe what I did was I reversed everything. I think I swapped everything from left to right.
I think we're about to roll this. Hell yeah. There we go. So in making the decision to swap, was it just a creative thing, or did you say, I want to make a different layout?
Just so it didn't feel like you were playing the same thing.
Okay. Gotcha. Is that something you always look into and changing layouts when you're making a table or an original?
As much as I can. I mean, one of the things that I don't know if people realize when they're doing a reskin, you don't have to keep especially the lights.
Okay.
The lights, 90% of the time, you can move the lights around all over the thing. So you don't have to put, an X3 or a 3X or a 4X over a character's face, because you could just move it. You can move you don't have to have the light there. So that was a lot of this, was moving the lights around too, and the whole trying to make it, and the other thing was trying to make it look old. There was one table that actually had, I think it might have been that apron. And from that apron is where I decided, well, I want to make it all look old. I want to make the paint chip. I want to make everything rusty. So
that's a great, I mean, it has that awesome weathered look. What are your initials, by the way? I'm going to put you in as the high score.
RAD.
You got it.
Yeah.
So
I'm from the 80s.
Hey, for me, 80s are the best decade. So in making the weathered look, is that something you have to do with existing images? Are there existing images to help you make the wood look weathered, or is that something you do in a whatever software, whether it's Blender or Adobe Illustrator?
I did this all in that was all done in Photoshop.
In Photoshop? Okay, cool. So is that your main source of is that how you do a lot of your work artistically in Photoshop?
When I was a sign maker, most of it was done in Illustrator.
Okay.
Because we needed vector stuff.
Gotcha.
But once we started printing on the vehicles and stuff like that, then we started going into Photoshop, and that's where I learned my Photoshop skills.
Gotcha. So when you're done creating the table, it's to your satisfaction. Do you end up playing it afterwards a lot, or are you so done?
No, I don't ever play them. As soon as they're done, they're done.
So you don't get to enjoy your creations?
No. We ruin it for ourselves. That's exactly what we do. We literally, if we're making it, I mean, maybe there are some hardcore dudes out there and they're like, I love playing my table, this, blah, blah, blah. No, I've played it so many times and let it run so many times that it's not fun anymore. No.
I'm sensing a common thing among creators when I ask them that. They're like, no, I'm done. And I mentioned it to, I think, Board. I was like, it's kind of like actors and actresses. They've filmed it. They don't really want to see themselves because they've been through all of it so much that they're like, you know what, I'm done with it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do enjoy seeing other people play it. That's why I love, like that. Like there's some people won't even play this game because it's in EM. They don't even the roaches aren't even enough for them.
I will say, if you are out there, you are missing out on a ton of good pinball if you are limiting yourself to just modern stuff. I have nights here where I could play Bobby Orr, and I know it's early solid state, Big Brave 300. I could play those for hours, just because of the sort of varying difficulty And, it doesn't always need a bunch of flashy animations, but tables like this that are unique, I strongly recommend everybody out there hit !Hauntfreaks and get out there and try them. They're really fun and they'll give you a new experience. Is there a pin that sort of opened your eyes to different sort of modes or things you could create in visual pinball? Or was it just sort of a gradual thing where you're like, I can do this?
Most of the time my thing is I have ideas. And then I look and I go, well, who's the guy that can make this happen? Because I would say something. I would say, like, even with this, I would go, well, it'd be neat if it did this. And the next day, Borg would have it done. He would have made it happen. Even if he didn't want to make it happen, he made it happen.
That's
so
awesome.
It really is. I mean, I guess because the graphics to me are kind of easy, I look at these coders that they're the true people of this hobby. They're the ones, I mean, we make it look pretty or something like that. But you know what? The stuff that they're making this stuff do, it's beyond me. It's absolutely ridiculous. It was just like Slayer. When I was doing Slayer, Retro Geek, he helped, he did almost all the coding on that. And it was the same deal. I would go, can it do this? Can there be a spinner? Can this? And and he's so modest about it. And he's like, well, we'll try. And the next thing you know, it would be done. He would just figure it out.
That's awesome. Do you find parts of the coding that there are parts of any hobby where you're just like, I don't get this. I don't understand how it works. Is coding that part that you're still learning and you're still kind of growing your knowledge of, or is there something else that you find yourself, I would really love to learn more about this?
Well, there are certain people that refuse to let me just go, can you do this? They go, no, this is going to be a learning experience. We're going to teach you how to do this. And that would be Rod. Because he's like, no, doesn't it make sense? Look, if you do this and it makes it do this and it does that. And I'm just thinking to myself, please just do it for me, please.
Well, I guess it's good to take the training wheels off sometimes, right?
Yeah, on certain things, like, I learned, because I like to add shadows to everything, so I made sure I learned how to add shadows to flippers and to the ball and things like that. So, like, when I do a lighting, I can actually make sure that I have that stuff down.
Yeah, I'm looking at
I recently learned how to do the drop shadow, the drop target shadows.
Yeah, the shadows on this are, like, I'm looking at the flipper shadows just as a point of reference, and they're awesome. They're amazing. So the work you got,
this is really, like, this needs a new shadowing technique so bad. This is a really old stuff.
It's a good candidate for it. And I mean, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
The existing work on this, Jesus, I'm playing terrible. The existing work on this is so beautiful. You take a look at that weathered look you were talking about. You look at the center of the playfield and just the flaking on the vehicle hoods, and it's just beautiful. And so I think the look you were
say, what was that? So what filter did you use for that? And they go, you motherfucker. I'll stick a filter up your ass.
Oh man. So we're gonna play one more and then we'll move on to your next table. But yeah, the flaking on this is just so, it's kind of like I'll peruse like Pinside looking for some pins that I'd like to buy, and they'll always talk about the back glass has flaking, but sometimes that looks it looks in the virtual world, at least for me, it looks really nice. It's kind of adds to that realism of this is what this pin would look like in the wild. But yeah, is there some part of this table that you focus on when you play? If you do play it, are you going for just the roaches? Or are you going for Some sort of special
The roaches and the drop targets.
roaches and drop targets. All right, cool.
But what's going to be nice about this is Rod and I started it a while ago, and it needs to get finished. But there's going to be a VR of this that's very, very cool.
Oh, do you have VR capabilities, or are you just helping with the, like, do you play pinball in VR?
I have a headset now.
Oh, nice. Do you play pinball more now in the VR world, or are you still, when you do play, are you still playing, in our regular world?
Well, it didn't change my world. Like, I expected when I got them, I thought I was going to be so blown away by this that it was going to be the craziest thing I've ever seen. And you know what? It's awesome. It really is. But even with my new setup, which can handle VR, it looks good. It doesn't, I still believe that personally, I don't have a 4K cab, but I bet on a 4K cab, it looks awesome. Yeah,
I can imagine. I have the headset. I just haven't launched everything. Everybody does tell me it's a life-changing experience. So, thank you for talking about Cartoons RC with us. I'm going to bring you up again, if you don't mind. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and here we go, and bring you up. There you are. Hello. So that was fun. Thank you for talking about Cartoons RC with us. I will say I love the ingenuity. There it is. Ingenuity of the roaches part. I love the look of it. Is there anybody you'd like to thank or talk about with on the table as a final parting shot on that one?
It's Borg Dog. It's Slider Point and the devs. Fozzie and Fuzzle.
So with the Fozzie physics, adding that to a table, how hard is that to implement, would you say?
I only tried to do it once, and I missed a lot of stuff. It needed to go through a few other people to get. I can set everything up. I can put all the triggers where they need to go and all the primitives and all that kind of stuff. But once it goes into the code, I get lost in there. So I usually let somebody else do that part.
When you're looking through the code sections, are you looking to learn more about how to add it, or are you still enjoying your sort of role right now in helping create?
I wish it made more sense. I wish it made more sense and was a little bit easier to do. I mean, there's full tutorials. I mean, A to Z, you should be able to do it. But even though that I followed the A to Z, somehow I missed a few letters.
I hear you. I've taken a brief look at it because I'm starting to look at creating a table, and it's tough. It's not easy. And I think your wise words from earlier on, it's not going to be this instant gratification that a lot of people, I just want to make a table and add it in. It takes a lot of work. And when you talk about the time length it takes to create a table like Cartoons, a year and a half you're looking at. So
that was off and on, but yeah.
So when you're creating a table or a new creation, are you looking at that same time frame? Are you knowing that it's going to take you a good amount of time?
No. Well, a good example is Bubba. Bubba got done in 10 days.
Holy cow. That's Hollywood heat, right?
I was like, I said to Borg, I said, "Yo, man, let's pump out a fast Halloween table." And I did all the graphics, and he did all the coding, and we got it done in 10 days.
And that Bubba is a reskin of Hollywood Heat, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go.
Which is a reskin of so many tables. Even in the real world. In the real world, that's what. What's your cab?
Godzilla?
Your cab's theme. What's your theme?
Oh, Goonies.
Yeah. So the real Goonies is a Hollywood Heat.
Is it?
And so is I can never remember anything. Day of the Dead, I think. Not Day of the Dead. Whatever. But some other. So it's been done in the virtual world a million times, and it's been done in the real world a bunch of times.
Is there a standard table layout that you always look to? Is it Hollywood Heat, or are you looking? I guess if you're.
I would never do another Hollywood Heat unless it was doing the DIYs version of like Goonies or whatever.
Gotcha. I'm wondering if there's, because I'm thinking about other creators, and I'm wondering if there's like a standard template for a pin that they look to and say, okay, this is my base. This is what I go to. Is there one that does it for you, or is it all, hey, let me look at a bunch of different layouts and see what I like?
Well, not really for me. I mean, what I do is I like to go into the database, Pinball database, and try to find things that are weird. That's why you'll find a lot of my stuff is Gottlieb, because some of the Gottlieb tables are just weird tables.
Yes, they are.
I would rather someone play something that they're probably never going to play the real one anyway, ever, and just reskin that and retheme it, move stuff around, and then it'll feel like a thing. And that's just what Slayer is.
Okay, that's a good segue. So, we are about to hit one of Hauntfreaks' newest creations, an awesomely metal table. If you cannot tell, I believe you are a metal fan, to say the least. A little bit. Other than Slayer, do you have any favorite bands that you want to tell our awesome community about?
No.
No?
I don't see. What I love is I love that time of my life, like the late 80s, early 90s, going to shows and going to hardcore, go see hardcore bands and things like that. So no, not really. I don't have I love
you love Britney.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't have Slayer if it wasn't for Britney.
I was gonna say, tell us how Slayer came to be. I'll load it up, and then I'm gonna take you off video right now because we're gonna load up Slayer for everybody. But while it's loading, we can go ahead and all right, you are off. We can go ahead and figure out how Slayer came to fruition.
Well, I'm sure everybody seen the
I am
Britney
now loading
debacle.
up the game.
Oh, 1 second. Sorry,
yeah.
I apologize. There's the loading theme is going. I want to make sure we hear you. So I've got your animated cartoon full DMD. We've got a T-Arc theme as well, but I chose the cartoon animated full DMD because it was pretty cool. Anyways, there we go. Sorry, go ahead.
That's actually that is a Slayer cartoon.
Is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I have the biggest Slayer knowledge, so I'm hoping you'll school me.
Oh, come on! I know you're a metalhead.
You know what? I have been a DJ in my past life for a long time. I respect all sorts of music, so if it is, I like when people put passion and quality into it. Not discriminate. So this is a beautiful table. The art has that sort of. I'm not going to say caricature because it's more realistic than that.
Is.
But
No, it's caricature.
But go ahead and tell us how this came to be.
Well,
if you're on Facebook,
we were trying to figure out why tables like Britney Spears were even being made, and all I kind of questioned why the hell is this being made, and that didn't go over so well. And from that time on, I knew I was going to make some table that was going to be more realistic to having be a real machine. Because let's face it, if they made a Britney Spears machine, how many were they really going to sell? I mean, really, how many would they sell?
You know, if you take a look at the demographics for the pinball community, it's generally older males. So probably not a ton. You know, if you're going to make a pin, that's why a lot of pins music that are music based are, you know, dad rock or some sort of genre that appeals to that demographic. You got Metallica, you got Rush, Led Zeppelin. Those are obviously some of the newer titles. But you don't have AC/DC. AC/DC. You don't have a pin that's based on a pop star. So keep going.
So the closest wasn't there was a country band or something. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but that was the closest thing to anything being like Britney Spears, and I don't think that table did very well either. So the way I looked at it was that this would be it. This possibly. Don't get me wrong. It's a little too hardcore for most, but that was the point of going complete 180 from Britney Spears.
Gotcha. And how long did it take to create this tape?
Well, it started out as a joke, and it was supposed to only take a couple weeks. And I guess we went into about the 6-month mark.
That's pretty good. I mean, this is for 6 months. I mean, when you look at it compared to other tables that have taken, you know, years or even longer, it's really well done in quality. Do you want to tell us anything about the modes or dots? I love the upper left spinner. It's that sort of fireball mechanism.
That's really just that's a puff piece. That doesn't really do anything other than throw the ball around. So like going in there isn't doing anything for you. It doesn't add to points or anything like that. Other than it does when it throws it around inside there are a few spots that it hits that will give you points, but it's nothing special.
Gotcha. And so, what is your main objective when you're starting this table? You're playing it. Go for the multi-ball. Go for.
Oh yeah, because you have to go right for the multi-ball in this because it doesn't have. It's really an early SS, so there's no player save. Like it doesn't. It can't save. Like it won't know that you locked a ball. So after the ball has been locked, if you drain, it's just going to dump those balls out.
Gotcha. I gotta tell you, I don't know if I've ever seen it on another pin. I love the outlane flippers. I've seen sort of on, I forgot the name of the pin at the table, but there's sort of a pop bumper, sort of something to bounce, a rubber to bounce the ball, and hopefully you get an outlane save. But having those little flippers in the outlane is so cool. What was
do you have them hooked to your Magna save?
No, so I saw in the code you can change it so they're hooked to your main
That's
flippers.
The way it should be played. It should be played that you're playing with those with the Magna save, and the standard flippers are your standard flippers.
Yeah, so I saw that in the code. I was like, you know, for tonight, I'm gonna leave them tied to the main flippers, so I don't.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's funny because on the P3 platform, that hybrid virtual physical pin, I'm getting a Weird Al at the end of the year, hopefully. They just released code because people were like, can we please tie in the main flippers to the upper flippers, which is the same concept here. Here we go. Oh, got
exactly.
it. Nice. And it's definitely easier. It definitely is easier. But I will revert once we're done with this. Once we're done with tonight. So the layout on this table, what sort of was the inspiration for, you know, putting that? It looks like a sectioned off upper playfield and maybe not upper playfield, but sort of the shot on the top right. And also the outlane flippers. What kind of went into that? Was that your design or your sort of thing?
This is a Gottlieb spirit.
Okay.
That a few things have been moved and a few things added, but in the end, it's a Gottlieb spirit. Gotcha. But again, that's another table that nobody's going to go, oh man, I can't wait to download that Gottlieb spirit.
What do you mean?
It's just if this didn't have If this didn't have Slayer connected to it, it's probably not that exciting.
What part of this process in making Slayer were you most excited about? Doing a theme that you really enjoyed, or is there something?
Being a ball buster.
Being a ball buster. Is spite your motivation for this?
That was the original motivation, and then I wanted to do a few things that haven't been being done, and that is that with the music in this, where number one, you can see it, what song is on in the bottom card on the right.
Yes.
Not just that, but you can change the music every time a new ball comes. You can't change in the middle, and that's done exactly like how the new Iron Maiden is.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're playing Iron Maiden, the real machine, every ball you can change the song to whatever you want, and that's basically what I wanted, and that's where, again, Retro Geek came in to save me, and he was able to figure it out, and it was a motherfucker, I think. So.
Did you learn anything from that process about, okay, this is how you do it? This is, if I want to do another music pin, this is kind of how I would approach it?
Oh, I would definitely do it that way again, and I'd ask him to do it.
So when you're creating tables, back glasses, full D&D media, are you doing multiple things at once, or are you focusing on one project at a time?
Well, it's almost impossible if you're part of this community to be doing one thing at a time, because there's always somebody needing something, or especially the code guys. I can't believe they're even able to take on anything, because they're constantly needed. So yeah, I'm usually doing a couple.
Okay. So are you getting a lot of questions or people asking for assistance on like Facebook, or is there any?
If I am, I'm probably not accepting it.
Okay. I was gonna ask, is there?
No, I don't know.
Are you? Oh shoot, I missed it.
I really do. I do try to. When I first release something, I do go in and constantly look at the comments in the comments.
In the release thread, yeah.
Yeah. So I want, so if someone is having a problem with, because a lot of times when I do those 3-screen B2Ss, they're, they can be complicated. And to tell you the truth, I'm not even that good at it. So I kind of like go, can so-and-so, can you help this person, blah, blah, blah. Because they didn't even know it better. Because at first I was making those and not having 3 screens. I was just doing it out of concept, like going, well, this should work. And you were the test on that with the dude.
Yes.
Is to make...
Yes. I remember. And I got some really awesome, shout out to Malik on Facebook. He sort of guided me, and you as well. I finally figured out what coordinates I needed, and I think that was the biggest thing because of the full DMD. I was trying to utilize those, the art that you were creating for that 3-screen back glass, and I finally figured it out. And you'll see on Young Frankenstein, I added the 3-screen version, and I figured out, okay, this is how you put this is where you put your coordinates so that you can take advantage of. There we go, nice save. Take advantage of that 3-screen version, because it's not easy. It's definitely it's different for each system, and then with that.
Well, what you were trying to put the topper in there also, not just.
Yes.
You wanted to, so like you kind of like split it in half and put the topper in there, and I mean you went full.
I was trying to mad scientist, so I could see everything. I really just need to bite the bullet and get a topper screen. But yeah, is there anything else you want to tell us about Slayer? I was looking at the, because I've never played a Spirit, so I'm trying to look at all the different parts of it. There's a capture at the top left, there's a capture on the mid right, bottom left.
Even those little flippers, they were in spirit.
They were in spirit. Wow, I did not know that. That's really freaking cool. That's really cool.
The spinner wasn't in there. The skull, of course, wasn't in there. And that was one of the other things that Retro Geek did was he was able to make, you know, when it locked the balls, if you lock all the balls, or you lock, actually when it dumps the balls, anytime it locks them, it'll dump them out of the skull. And that was, you know, telling the ball to go, okay, go from here and come out here. You know, I mean, maybe for somebody else, it's like a no-brainer, but he made it happen. And I would have never figured that out.
That is, shout out Retro Geek, all the assistance on this, because this is a badass table. The skull, is that something you modeled, or is that something that you were able to?
That was on Thingiverse.
Really?
Yeah. So all I did was I skinned it. That's it.
Well, hey, shout out to Thingiverse for providing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Thingiverse is great for stealing models of things.
So everybody, if you need something, go to Thingiverse first before you bother Hauntfreaks. Do you do any modeling on your own, or are you looking for assets elsewhere first so you don't have to recreate the wheel?
Well, yeah, absolutely. If we can find it, why try to make it? Why, you know, unless it's really crappy and it needs to be remade. Like the only thing that I probably contributed to would be the leaf switches, like leaf switches behind behind the rubbers that trigger the, you know, your code or whatever.
Okay.
Well, I remodeled those and they've been used in multiple things. So
cool. I love that. That
was my big modeling.
Do you have something that you've modeled in the past that you're really proud of?
If you go to Hauntfreaks on Thingiverse, I have a ton of models that I did. I did a lot of stuff for Raspberry Pis.
Oh, okay.
I did made a bunch of cases. Like there were Atari 2600s that ripped them in the Raspberry Pi fit in and things like that.
That's cool. Do you have a 3D printer, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
That was the hobby du jour for a while, you know.
Ooh, look at that.
Because I'm a hobby hopping motherfucker. That's my biggest problem. I mean, I get bored with something, I just jump right onto something else.
Have you ever gotten bored with virtual pinball and taking a break?
Oh yeah, a ton of times. I mean, most times that I've had to take a break was I was neglecting life, and and it became an issue. So
I totally hear that. That's why I stream late at night, so that I don't neglect life. It's the time when I know I have that free time. With the Raspberry Pi stuff, do you play a lot of emulated stuff, or are you sort of the same? Right now, you're just creating and you're not really playing as much.
My big thing in that was, when it comes to that, it isn't like this. I mean, that's the other thing, is people that come from the arcade world, most of anything that goes on with arcade is that you're not really doing anything. You're not creating anything.
Yeah.
You're creating media.
Yep.
That's about the only thing you're doing. You're gonna make, you're making a new picture of this or that, for the themes. But, that's why I think when they come into this hobby, they don't realize why this is so hard.
Yep.
And it's beyond. It's way beyond the arcade world.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I think it reminds me of a lot of the Hursty themes, and I think he used to help out in the VPin world.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. I'm good friends with Dwayne.
Yeah, he had a lot.
He does a lot. Yeah, he was way into it, but he didn't like. You know how this you know how this hobby is.
Yeah.
It gets a little whiny, and people are mean to each other, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he didn't need that. He didn't want to deal with that bullshit.
I don't blame him one bit. I just noticed that. So those upper right drop targets, that active once they're completed, that gets you a letter in Slayer, right?
Yes.
Looks like it. Okay. And what is the reward for completing Slayer? Just points, or is that like the? Is that the wizard mode?
Well, you have to do Slayer, and then I think then you have to spell ball.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm looking because I'm looking at.
So like if you go up around that that thing that little 180 spinner thing up there.
Oh, I see it.
What'll happen is you'll the ramp will open up, and then you can go under that ramp, and then I forget what the hell you get. You get something that when you do that.
Hell's Gate.
Yeah, Hell's Gate, exactly.
Well, it's a beautiful table. Is there anything specifically artistically that you were looking to do, and you feel like you got it accomplished with the final product?
I just wanted it to be dark. I mean,
yeah,
the whole raining blood thing. So like that's why there's a lot of red in it and stuff like that.
Cool. Well,
That's
it's a
about
beautiful. If nothing, it's a beautiful table. I think it's one of the better originals or re-themes. Even if you're not into metal, I strongly suggest you play it. It plays fantastic. It's got some unique ideas. I know it's based off Spirit, but the outlane flippers are just really cool. It's got a ton of nice shots. I was just shooting it now and talking to you. I felt like it was satisfying, kind of like I feel with Godzilla, where every shot feels sort of nice.
Which I don't even understand how you do. To tell you the truth, I don't know how any of you streamers can sit here and bullshit and play. I couldn't play and bullshit.
Well, I enjoy it. I will tell everybody watching, if you ever come to my streams, I really enjoy this hobby. Brings me a lot of happiness. So getting to show...
He appreciates us.
Yeah. Getting to see and show you guys all the creations from everybody like yourself brings me a lot of happiness and joy. So I'm going to bring you up again because I want to talk about Slayer a little bit again. And before we go into our next table, what should we go into next? Do you want to go to Bubba, Young Frankenstein? What do you think? Dark Princesses? Or Dark Princess?
That's not mine.
Oh, that's not yours? I'm sorry.
That's not mine, goddammit.
You want to do Bubba or Young Frankenstein?
This is about me.
What would you like to approach next? Young Frankenstein or
do Bubba?
Bubba. All right. So with Slayer, are you looking to create more originals like that, or are you looking to go off in another direction in the future, or just it's going to be whatever you feel like at the time?
It's whatever happens. I mean, it really is. I mean, right now I'm messing around with America's Most Haunted, and that just came out of me actually playing the real one at Pinfest, and I was like, you know what, that table's always needed a little extra something. So that's what I'm working on now.
At Pinfest, did you see anything other than America's Most Haunted that sort of piqued your interest? Did you get to play anything like Halloween or something that?
Oh, Halloween's the worst. Halloween's the worst. No, there wasn't many spooky tables there. Spooky was there, but they didn't have that many tables there.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. But you know what they had? They had at least. Let me try to count it in my head. There was probably 8 Godzillas.
Oh yeah, the Godzilla is like king right now.
And,
Did you get
and
to play
there
it?
was like 5. Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I got to play the EM. I mean the EM, the LE.
Oh, nice. We got to see the building multi-ball destruction jackpot. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that was way cool.
Well, if you're ever in the area, you can come hang out and play some of the pins. I have that, and
that is a state I haven't been yet. So if I ever make it to Texas,
yeah, you'll know where I am. Just find Frisco.
Yeah.
So at Pinfest, I was just gonna follow up on that. So you played Godzilla. Were there any classics that you played that you had never been able to flip before?
There was there. You know what? There was a Doctor Dude there that was like it was brand new.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. What else was there? I actually didn't play many EMs. It was just like there was like this foul smell inside the building. They had rain for weeks or something, and they had shit backing up, and so it was like disgusting in there. So you only wanted to be there as long as you had to be there. So I only was at the show for 2 hours.
Do you ever play in tourneys, or are you sort of just a casual player?
I'm weird anyway. Like doing this is weird. So
well, thank you for doing it, by the way.
Yeah. Get me over my silliness. But no, I haven't. No, but I've wanted to. I've wanted to do a league, but I just wish that there was something. There's nothing close enough for us. Okay. We would have to travel to go.
Yeah, some of those. There's a lot of local leagues I know popping up, and as pinball gets more popular, hopefully it gets to your area. But definitely, it seems like it's more in the bigger cities, and then if you're out, further away, you got to travel, and it's like, do I want to spend a whole day, competing in a tourney? Well, hey, pinball's for casuals, hardcores, everybody basically. I do like, though, I will say, if you ever decide to do tourneys, even for just the fun of it, it's a great way to find some new pins you've never tried out before, because a lot of the times they're at people's private collections or in their homes. That's the only way I got to play Big Lebowski recently, and I was so happy because I finally get to play a real one and then compare it to, I mean, it's not the same, but it's nice to see the same media being used in the pup pack versus the real pin.
Yeah. I only played Big Lebowski once, and it was at a Pin Fest, but it was in bad shape.
Yeah.
As crazy as it was when it was kind of new, and it was just bad. So I would like to play it again, so I don't have hard feelings about it.
But I will echo what people are saying in chat. I really do appreciate you coming on. You're doing great. I think it's fun. I'm trying not to talk your ear off, but I will.
No, that's what I need.
But let's get into Bubba. Tell me a little bit about Bubba, the Redneck Werewolf. It's not an IP I've ever heard about before. I'm glad I did. The layout is based off Hollywood Heat. Give me a little bit of the history of how it came about.
Well, the whole reason was that I wanted to do something for that Halloween. I can't even remember what year it was. But I had just seen this movie, and it's bad. So if you want to see a bad B movie, watch Bubba. It's bad. But it was something weird, and it was off. And then what was nice was that that it was a comic strip also, or a comic book. So it was easy to get a lot of art. So that worked out good.
Are you a fan of comic books?
I'm not a comic book geek, but I like comic art.
That's what I was going to ask, follow up, because I know if you're into design, artistic expressions, I feel like comics would be a good place to see sort of different styles and images and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, do you have a favorite artist?
I mean, this is cliche because with me, but I love like Ed Roth and people like that. Okay. That was Rat Fink and all that stuff.
Oh, Rat Fink! I know that.
I follow a ton of artists on Instagram now, and it's just they're amazing. They're true artists. What I do is I assemble crap, and that's what I've done my whole life was assemble crap. So it was on the side of a van or it was on the side of a trailer. But these guys, they're sitting with pen and ink and still doing it. Just like you know, Astro. You know, he's doing fine art on or comic book art on tables, hand drawn.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's amazing.
Shout out Astro, Lord of the Rings, Valinor edition. Beautiful playfield.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. Have you ever dabbled in illustration or original creations, or have you sort of moved from, did you start with that and then move into graphic design and assembling pieces?
When I was a kid, that's all I ever did was draw. I drew constantly. And then I would buy the cartoons magazines and things like that. And yeah, that's what I would love, and I would, just copy what I seen. And
were you a Mad TV magazine purchaser?
Oh yeah.
Or,
yeah.
what was? I'm sorry, not Mad TV. I'm thinking
Man Magazine.
The Mad Magazine. Yeah, sorry. I remember
And
that.
Crack.
Yeah, that you would do you would fold the centerpiece in or the pages, and it would make an image.
The back page, yeah.
I gotta tell you, I was pretty dumb because I got it to work once, and I was like, why can't I do this? But I think it might have just been too advanced for me.
I would go into I don't know if you guys. I would go into a convenience store, and if they had it, I would always do it. Like, they would be crinkling somebody's brand new version of it.
You're like, well, I got what I wanted out of the magazine.
There you go.
Do you have a favorite comic by any chance? Like, is there Spider-Man, Calvin and Hobbes, anything that you sort of enjoyed reading?
It's all my stuff is lowbrow. It's all it was Monster Cars and Ratfink and anything that was a cartoon monster. I loved all that stuff. That's the stuff I loved.
Is that did you watch Ren and Stimpy? I think of that as
my God. Yeah. Ren and Stimpy's the best. That's one of the best. Nobody, I mean, that wasn't meant for kids.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you looked deeper into it with the stuff they were showing, that was way beyond kids. Well, it's the same as right now with the cartoons, the hell is that? Teen Titans Go.
Yes.
If you watch Teen Titans Go, if that's on Cartoon Network or some shit, that is not the humor that's in there. Isn't the right decade. It really is 80s and 90s, all references. So it has nothing to do with children at all.
I will say today's cartoons, I feel like they tackle a lot more. There's a lot more subtle, dark humor than there was when I was growing up watching X-Men on Saturday mornings or the Batman the Animated Series, and those were they're not Teletubbies, but at the same time they were still, they're not approaching the dark humor of today.
Right.
All right, let's get into Bubba.
I'm a big Bob's Burgers fan. So.
Oh, did you watch the movie?
I didn't go see the movie yet.
Okay. All right, I won't spoil anything. All right, we're going to say goodbye to you for a sec. We're going to load up Bubba the Redneck Werewolf, and then we will we'll talk about it some and play some, and hopefully everybody out there enjoys it. Again, !Hauntfreaks if you'd like a link to all his creations on VP Universe. There's some stuff on VP Forums too, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, let's do this, and we'll load up, and I'll see you in a sec. All right, we've got it loaded. Loading up the playlist, and this animated wheel I got recently from VPU. It's pretty awesome. I think it's by Michiba, I believe, on VPU. Shout out to him.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, this is a really, really cool animated wheel. Again, shout out Nailbuster for Popper. It's just really cool front end, and you can do a lot of different things with it.
Please wait. I am now loading up the game.
Although this lady
Have
will
fun.
haunt my dreams forever. The please wait loading lady. All right, so Bubba the Redneck Werewolf was a comic and then a Bad B movie. Do you remember when that movie was released, in case anybody wants to go? That recent?
If you type in, it was in the 2000s, but
gotcha. All right, so take a look at some credits. Now the layout again, Hollywood Heat. It looks like you're supposed to spell redneck on the bottom and collect the characters. Is that it? Am I saying that right?
That's right.
And it's shot up top in the top left where it says dog catcher. Is that the lock? Is that a ball lock?
Yeah, it was.
Because I just locked it, but I see it's still sitting there. I'm wondering if there's another lock or some way to release it.
Yeah, well, this definitely has multi-ball at some point.
Gotcha, okay. And the back glass, that's your creation, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that, obviously that's an original creation. What went into making that? Just sort of finding a piece of the comic and saying, hey, this will look good on the back glass, or?
Yeah, that was going through all the different comics. And then the same thing with the playfield on this. This is just going through countless comics. And what I believe their comic series was that they had different artists. So it never looked exactly the same. Because you can see it in the girl. The girl looks different in different parts of the table.
Oh, I never noticed that. Oh, there we go. We released the multi-ball. It looks like. So what is the movie about? Do you remember? Just a redneck werewolf?
Just, it's not a real thing. It's not a thinker.
It's not a thinker. All right, good to know. Shoot the ramp for multiple after both locks. Thank you so much, Org Dog. I appreciate it. And so this was, you said, 6 months, I believe?
No, this was 10 days.
10 days, that's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nice. And when you're looking at releasing something, to look at the reception, are you looking at like the number of downloads or people? How are you finding if people are enjoying it? Sort of give you that information. Reviews, comments.
What you do is you look at the views and then you look at the downloads, and you see what your percentage is view to download.
Do you have something that that you've released that's been surprising to you as far as reception, like in a positive way?
Probably Slayer. I didn't think Slayer would be really, because it's just not some people's deal. They're not going to like that. I mean, and a lot of people, they didn't. There's people that even said that they played it without the music and stuff like that. And that was one of the things that was in there. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong, but we did have a blank in there. But there might not be a blank anymore. But there was you were able to sit there and play it. But one of the tracks that I put on Slayer was, I wanted to make sure, was it had no lyrics. Gotcha. So it was guitar riffs from all the different music.
Ooh, we got the multiple. Nice. Was there any? We'll talk about Slayer a little bit more. What was the process in picking the songs? Just your personal favorites, or ones you thought would go well with the table?
I was going with my personal favorites, but I did go and look at statistics. So like what was considered the top 10 or whatever.
Okay. So when Bubba is done and you're looking at it, are you saying, you know what?
You're the man. I can't believe you got that multi-ball. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm trying to do you justice. I don't like playing poorly for the creators, so I'm doing my best here. Is there anything you'd like to add to this table that maybe you didn't add? Is there sort of a different maybe physics set you're looking at?
Oh yeah, this is running old physics. So I have a bunch of tables that need to be, the new physics need to be added in.
Do you look at those and say, yeah, I really want to add it, or are you happy with kind of where it's at?
I mean, I try to make sure that it plays pretty good no matter what back then, but now there's a formula, and we know that it's gonna play. It might need a little bit of tweaking, but you put those physics in there, it's gonna play good. I mean, you're gonna have people that are going to go in and are going to go, I don't like the way that plays, or I don't like, it's too hard, and stuff like that. And they'll make it easier for themselves, which is the most odd thing I've ever even thought of, is like tricking yourself that it's easy.
Yeah.
But and I think you know who I'm talking about. I haven't seen him on your stream in a while.
Yeah, I think I do too. I was gonna say, when you're looking at what you've created originally, right, and then you've got these things that you can update, does that ever take away from your original vision, or are you just like, no, I'm just making my table better by adding, I'm adding, the latest physics or the latest.
No, not at all. I think that physics-wise, and if I can change the lighting to be a little bit better now, I would do that too. I have no problem with that, either of those things.
So there's a new lighting engine, I think, that was sort of previewed by Astro on Facebook, showing Twilight Zone with some new lighting techniques. Is that something you're looking to add in your tables? You know what I'm talking about?
I know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, sorry then. Sorry. Yeah, there was a really cool new technique, I think. He was saying it was very advanced, and I figured I'd ask you about it. Let me ask you about the werewolf in the top left, though. Bubba. Is that can't be from Thingiverse, can it?
It might have been from Thingiverse, but what it wasn't. That was me just taking a model, throwing a hat on it, and then just skinning it. So it was nothing special, but I know how to combine two meshes.
How long does it take to model something like that, would you say?
Since I didn't really do the actual modeling and I'm just kind of combining two meshes, it's messing around one night.
Oh,
but a lot of times the hardest part sometimes is the texture map, and that is trying to figure out, well, what part is this and what part is that, and that's unwrapping it and unwrapping the UV and all that kind of crap.
And what does UV stand for? Sorry.
Man. Now I'm making me sound like a dummy. I don't know.
That's okay. I'm trying to learn as much about the process as I can. So when you're unwrapping things, you're going to the guts of the image file or whatever you're looking at and trying to figure out.
Terry, what does UV stand for, Terry?
He'll tell us in chat. So when you're creating these designs and you're unwrapping something to create a model, is it sort of looking at like the source code of some sort of program and saying, okay, this is where this is placed inside the design, this is where, how it's made?
What we do is you take it into Blender, or I take it into 3D Studio Max, and there is a whole section where it'll unwrap it. So now it's unwrapped and it's flat. Now it's a flat texture, but you got to go, well, where the fuck is his head? It isn't like it's like the outline of his head. It's like in like hundreds of thousands of little pieces. So you got to kind of figure out where it all gets put together.
Gotcha.
There are people that know how to do it the correct way, and that would be literally painting the model itself.
Oh wow!
You can paint it right on the model, like in what the fuck is that? Yeah, there's I think even Blender can do it, where you can paint right in the program. To tell you the truth, I know it can, because that's exactly how I did the skull in Slayer.
Gotcha.
I painted that right on the skull.
Is there a part of the technology now that's available to you that maybe wasn't available before that you're really enjoying in the creation process? Like, I know we were talking about compression before. Is that something you become really adept at or an expert at, and you're like, this brings me maybe not a lot of joy, but it's something that wasn't there before?
Not that I'm an expert in it, but we should be definitely utilizing the new compression images in 10.7, because we can get tables half the size now. We don't have to run 300 and 400 meg tables. We can make them 1 and 200 megs. So that's what I've been doing. Almost every single table I get now, if it was built in 10.7, I go in and convert optimize all the images.
Nice. Was the leap from 10.6 to 10.7 what you had hoped for? Were you?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of guys that didn't like it, but I don't know. I thought I'd love to be able to have unlimited layers, being able to name layers. So yeah, I love. Don't get me wrong. I think that there are things in there that I have no clue what they do, and the code guys are, they're able to do all kind of crazy stuff with the lights now and all the different fade ups and all kind of crazy stuff.
Speaking of software and tools, do you have any thoughts on VP and maybe hopes for it, or sort of a wait and see approach?
I mean, I'm with all the work that's being put into it, how can it be good? It's going to have modern engines and stuff like that. We're going to have real lighting where, it's going to cast the shadows for us. So, you have to understand that a lot of the tables, like say in VPW, they're being rendered in Blender. So that's why Borg's tables look so super amazing. He's doing that. He's doing, telling it, well, this is where the light is, and the program goes, oh, okay, well, I'll put it here. But the complexity to get there is way beyond me. So when you see me say that I'm adding different lighting and I'm adding shadows, I'm not going old school, but I'm going old school, where I'm going into Photoshop and I'm creating the shadows and stuff like that as an overlay, because I cannot stand the actual lights that are in VPX.
Gotcha. Is that a limitation of just the actual software, or?
Well, what the problem is like you can shape the lights to make them look like they're shadows, but they're going to be very harsh, hard edges. You'll probably even see it on this. This probably when it's a dark table, but no, you can see it when the GI is on. You can see that the edge of the shadow and where the light is such a hard contrast that I don't want to do that anymore. I put out a video showing how to do it so people would at least have some kind of shadows, but to tell you the truth, that's not the way I will do shadows ever again.
Gotcha. I'll put your initials in, RAD. We just had a pretty good game. I'm excited for that.
That was a great game.
I like when I do well. So before we move on to the next table, I just got to tell you, looking at it now, it's just it's got such a unique or distinct sort of art style. I don't know what this comic art style is, but it's freaking awesome. And you're right. I'm looking at the different images of the female character just on the left plastic, in the center of the play field, on the right sling, and it's just really, really cool. So thank you for releasing this. Obviously, it's been out for a good amount of time. Do you remember when you released this in your VPin career, early on, or was this as far as table creation, was this one of your first few tables, or had you done some before that?
Nah, this was like 18 or 19.
Okay. I was going to ask if this has a special place in your heart, but
I to tell you the truth, the reason why I had you play it was that I don't think most times when this does get played, people go, I've never seen that table before.
Exactly. Yeah. This is one to get good exposure for. people, please go out and download this. Shooting it just now, one of the most satisfying shots was that ramp shot because I took
because that ramp shot's hard.
Yes, it took skill to get up that. So when I had the balls locked and shot it to release the multi-ball and activate it, it was a lot of fun. And that's where you're going to get a big score. The inserts are freaking just, I love the font style on it. Reminds me of a font I just was using in something I was creating. I know it's stupid to say, but sort of little things like that excite me.
That is all things that we think about.
Yeah.
Especially, one of the biggest, if you go back to the B2Ss, is the people going just like, okay, aerial's good enough. Well, that isn't what aerial wasn't what was used back in the 1970 whatever. You have to find those correct fonts and stuff like that. That's a big thing for me, at least.
Yeah, no,
my font collection is stupid big. So.
I bet rolling through your list is a trip. The fonts you've collected, because it reminds me the one of on the inserts for the 8X 4X reminds me of a font. It's called like Dead Stock, and I was using that for a Cobra Kai thing I was creating, and so those little things sort of excite me and make me happy. So thank you again, everybody. Please go out and download Bubba the Redneck Werewolf. I totally agree with Hauntfreaks. For some reason, I feel like when people discover it, they're like, oh my God, yeah, this is actually a fun table. And it hasn't been on the radar for not a long time, but for a lot of people. So I hope we do it justice here. Let's go to the videotape.
And that's one that probably needs to be turned into a pup pack, because since there's a movie, so
yes,
use all the movie clips.
Who's up for making a Bubba the Redneck Werewolf pup pack? It's a good excuse to watch the movie. Do you have any favorite B-level camp movies that you've seen in the past or recently? Maybe we can get some people to go watch them.
I'm more of a weirdo that watches YouTube all night than watching movies. If there are movies on, it's because my wife put it on.
Gotcha.
But again, like Big Lebowski, I can have that. I could be working on something, just have Big Lebowski on in the background, and just listening to all the audio because it's just awesome.
It is. Shout out to you and Hawkeyes, right, for the pup pack. That is one of my favorite combos. The Strikes and Spares Dude mod with the pup pack. It is so much fun. And I know it gets me a strike on Twitch and YouTube, but I don't care. I let the intro play. I let all the clips play to fruition or to completion. It is such a nostalgia trip, and it goes to show how awesome that movie is. And every time you hit a target,
everybody knows how I feel about pup packs. I'm a little on the fence with pup packs. You know what I mean? Like I don't usually like classic games being pup packed. But I think that was one, there was no way around it.
Yeah.
That had to be made into a pup pack.
I mean, you can have good audio call-outs with the table, but I think that is a perfect example of where pup packs come in and really enhance the experience. I know a lot of people, sometimes I'm like that. I'm like a cat where if you throw something shiny in front of me, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Give me more of it. But there are times like when I'm playing Bobby Orr's Power Play or 300, I just love the experience that exists. It doesn't need anything else. But with Big Lebowski, I think you're right on the money. It had to have something that would throw the awesomeness of the movie at you as well.
Oh, absolutely. And
the freaking 3-screen B2S, I love that lower portion on the where the scores are. It's just so well done. Yeah. So thank you for that. So now we're going to hit our final table of the night. This is going to be... what was it going to be? It was going to be... Oh my God, I just had a brain fart. We had Slayer, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf...
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein. I'm so sorry. I forgot. My brain just froze right there. This one has a awesome back glass. It has the 3-screen B2S, and Yeah, we're going to take a look at this. Tell us a little bit about this before we get into it. How it came to be.
This was another one to make sure it got out for Halloween.
You big
But this one took, this one I did, I guess, I don't know, I think 4 months ahead of time I started looking into this. I actually didn't procrastinate as much.
So, what was your inspiration in picking this for a Halloween themed table? Are you a big?
Yeah. This was another one that had to be made because it's another movie that you don't need to watch. It's a movie that you can just listen to. The soundboard that I stole all the audio from. There were hundreds and hundreds of clips. So I tried to use as many as possible. In that one, there's actually it's randomized. So like if you hit something, it usually has 5 to 10 different things that it could say.
Wow. Oh, I did not know that. That's really cool. Is that the first table you activated that feature on, or is that?
That's the first time. That's the first table I ever asked somebody to put it in.
I will give you credit. Whoever else helped you as well. Do you wanna credit anybody for helping you create this one?
Rod did so much work on that. If you've never seen the VR of this, you're definitely missing something. The VR room he did for it is unbelievable. The bookcase moving, the candle goes out, and the whole line. Put the candle back. You can. Once the bookcase moves, you can see Igor in the room. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I got to get on this VR trip because I'm missing out on all these cool rooms.
Yeah, I know. You've been saying this for months.
Exactly. It's just got to find the time. You know how it is. Right. All right. Thank you for
the other person on that was Fluffhead.
Okay.
He did a lot of the coding.
He did Goonies, right, for VPW?
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out Fluffhead. Okay. We're going to say goodbye to you for a sec, and then we're going to load up Young Frankenstein to end our night and our journey with Mr. Hauntfreaks. Brian, if you will. And then...
Please wait.
The other thing
I am
that I
now
want to say
loading up
was
the game.
I just want to point out Fluffhead is another one that has jumped in and helped me a million times. Same thing with Sal. All those guys. There's nobody in VPW that you can't go, dude, can you look at this? And they do it. They're going to look. They're going to help you.
Please wait. I am now loading up the game.
Guys, like,
have fun.
Apophis, all those dudes.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, if you want to give shout outs to anybody that's ever helped you along the way, please feel free. We're waiting for the loading of Young Frankenstein anyways. This full DMD is really cool too. I grabbed this off of VPU. You have any other? Oh my god, look at this art. Oh, geez. Crazy. In a good way. What was the thought process in picking the art for this table?
It goes right back to me. I love caricatures. So, so you'll see like this, Slayer, whatever. They have like caricatures. And that goes back to me not liking photos on backglasses or on playfields. I just can't stand it. In anything in pinball, I believe should be a graphic. I don't think it should be a photograph.
Interesting.
And I know that at one time, Gottlieb wanted to do that. They wanted to make their backglasses with real people, and they were just the most horrendous backglasses ever made.
Backlash. What was the inspiration for create or the design? Because I'm noticing it looks like, I don't know, I can't tell you. I remember what the movie posters look like or any of the promotional materials. So, was this an original creation or was this something that you were able to find?
A lot of the art in this was from This is mostly fan art.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was just bits and pieces from different websites. And yeah, that's how all this was created. It was all fan art.
That's pretty cool. There's a subgenre of society that's creating fan art for Young Frankenstein. That's pretty awesome. I mean, Mel Brooks is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, to me, this is no different than, this is just an audio. This is another audio movie. Big Lebowski, this, Blazing Saddles. I mean, all those movies. You don't need to watch those. You can just listen to them. They're funny no matter what.
Do you have any other favorite Mel Brooks films?
I would like to do a Blazing Saddles, but you know, that might be a little rough. That might hurt some feelings.
Yeah, but there's a lot of standards back then that aren't the same today, but, to say the least. But I say funny's funny.
Oh yeah, it's exactly. You know what? Here's the deal with Mel Brooks. You know what he did? He didn't let anybody by. He made fun of everyone.
Equal opportunity. So,
yeah, every opportunity.
Terry said it right. Leave Mel Brooks alone. Excuse me. So can you tell me a little bit about the layout of this table? I'm a little bit ignorant on that. I don't know what it's modeled after.
This is Jesus Christ, I'm bad. It's gonna take me a second to figure this one out. Well, that's right there. That wire ramp you were just hitting.
Yeah.
That's actually stolen from Lethal Weapon.
Oh wow. It's in the same location. Does it deliver the ball to the same?
Nah. You see, it's a little weird where it was delivering it. So that whole lower right is pretty much custom made just for that ramp.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I never really noticed the outlane blocker, the little electricity for.
Yes.
That was
yes. Cool. If you go, right. And that came from Rod. He came up with the electricity there and the countdown for it.
That is freaking awesome. I had never noticed that before. Everybody, please go download this table right now. This is freaking... Like, I've never seen that feature before. The little gate. It's kind of like obviously an electric gate, but that is so cool.
Well, that's what he had said to me. He goes, you okay with this being not real, not realistic? And I was like, you know what? It looks so cool to do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you try to put that in a real pen, you got a lot of lawsuits, and I get that. But that's freaking awesome. So, design-wise,
that Vuk is from what's the name too? That's from Lethal Weapon.
Was a lot of in the design of this pin, were you looking at Lethal Weapon mainly, or?
The Lethal Weapon was the first choice, but because it was a ROM and it was a DMD ROM, it would have taken way beyond the skills of me, and I would have been asking people for things that I wouldn't expect somebody to have to do.
Gotcha. Do you have in your collection of your... Oh, I want to hit this center target. Is there a favorite that you've created, favorite table that you've made that you're like, this is the one I like the most? Like, do you have a child that you say, this is my favorite child?
I guess it has to be cartoons.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, we got it. Oh, damn it. Outlane drain. Yeah, I mean, I can see why. I can totally see why. I needed to hit that left scoop. Damn it.
There's a secret door. If you go from the mid left flipper and you hold the right flipper up
underneath,
you can go underneath the flipper. Yeah.
Oh, that is badass. I was looking at that. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is there something behind there? Oh, that's right above. That's Gene Wilder, right? I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! So you got it. Okay, I see what you're saying. Hit it from
the mid, that right there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You have to get it off the tip of it, and then yeah.
That is super cool. And what is the? Is it just a higher a scoring shot, or is it like a lock, or?
It somebody Rod put a like a multiplier switch or something there where it takes one of the switches that are already on the table,
okay,
and it just multiplies it multiple times, so it gives you a higher score.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that these guys are doing is taking a ROM table and making it do stuff that the ROM. I mean, we can't add to the ROM. At least I don't know how to add to the ROM. So the only way around that is to kind of trick the table to give more points for certain things.
Yeah, because the ROM is already, it's basically set.
Preset. Yeah.
I mean, is that something? Have you heard of pinball browsers? Is that something that people use? I'm again ignorant to this. Almost made it.
Pinball browsers more for. I mean, there are people that change music in there, but they, that's what they're using for color DMDs.
Okay, gotcha. Are you a fan of the color DMDs?
Which is a whole other thing. Have I ever done that?
Are you a fan of? Oh, it's too much work.
Oh yeah, I love them. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, I think they really add to the experience. I'm a big fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like people will go that, well, I thought you were a purist, but then that's not true because I could get that. I can get a color DMD for a real machine.
Yeah. Definitely. Again, I would strongly recommend everybody please go out and download this table, especially the back glass. I love the design of the 3-screen B2S. If you have a 3-screen B2S, I'd recommend downloading that. I think it's part of the actual download package, if I remember correctly. If not, make sure when you go to Hauntfreaks page, you leave a thumbs up, a review, let them know if you're liking the content. I think for any creator, I would suggest you do that. That way they know that it's being enjoyed and they're not just sending it into the ether for no one to play. So, is there something in the hobby right now that you're really excited about seeing as far as the future, or something you're looking forward to?
One thing I want to mention about the 3-screen, now it's a lot easier. Like, you don't have to guess anymore. I don't know if you've seen it, but Fluffhead has been converting a lot of the stuff to 64-bit. So when he was converting the B2S server or one of the BTS softwares, there was a program within there that nobody even knew was ever there, and it's to actually set up the 3 screens. Like you put the screens where you want them on the 3 screens, and every one of them gives you the numbers, and you can hit save, and it outputs the screen res TXT.
Oh wow, that's very helpful.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's very helpful.
Now it's not going to do the custom ones where you do them, but
yeah. Damn it. Do you have anything in your cab you'd like to upgrade, or are you happy with what it's been given you?
Oh, I have full DOF stuff, like all the toys, all that stuff, but I've never installed them.
No.
I have them sitting in a box. They just never got installed. And I built my my cab 8 years ago. So, and I even have the SSF.
Interesting. Is there a creator that has left the hobby that you wish would come back?
Say that one more time.
Is there a creator in the hobby that has left that you wish would come back?
Suit yourself. I'm easy.
I think everyone that kind of left in a huff over pinball, whatever the hell it was, Pinball. Yeah. You know, I just think that, I understand it, but I just wish they would all just come back and, we have VPU now.
Yeah. Shout out Daz. Thank you for hosting VPU. He's a local guy. I played it with him in a couple tourneys here. Really nice guy. So thank you, Daz, for VPU. And also VP Forums for existing and keeping our stuff, or keeping everybody's stuff there. It's definitely hard. I know Terry posted today about PinSimDB leaving at the end of July. Make sure you go say thank you to them for all the future pinball content there that they've hosted.
Wait, PinSim's going?
Yeah, Terry posted about today. After 16 years, he's they're shuttering the site, making archives, but giving people time to grab whatever stuff they need and from there.
Well, if anybody wants to go there, put my name in the search, and you can see my earliest work.
Ooh,
because it's
nice.
still there.
Is it? That's freaking good to know. Very good to know. I want to see your humble beginnings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The funny thing is, back then I was I'm gonna butcher the name of the guy, but it was something Poppet? I don't know what the hell his name was. But he used to tell me, I don't understand why you make these tables in 4K. And I would go, well, eventually there's going to be 4K cabinets. And he goes, you're making it's stupid. The files are just too big. So right there, I've been making 4K tables since the beginning.
You're making 4K before it became cliche or trendy.
That's right.
That
Before
is,
anybody can afford it.
I know, exactly. I'm going to turn you on right now. All right, there we are. That is a look at Young Frankenstein. Again, there's so many hidden gems that many creators like yourself have made. If you're watching this live or on replay, please go to those pages. Show the creators your support. This is my small way of giving something back, because I can't code, I can't draw, I don't have any of that skill set yet. The only thing I've done is made a couple custom DOF changes to tables for the lettering on the back LED matrix. But again, please, if you're watching this, ! Hauntfreaks, you can go to his files, download them, give them a go, show the creators that you're enjoying the stuff. I can't tell you how much I enjoy it, because there's no words for it. It's given me a lot of happiness and pleasure, but it sounds weird, to enjoy it. So anything you want to say about Young Frankenstein before we finalize the night and ask you some questions and see if anybody else has questions?
No, I think that's about it.
I've taken a lot of your time.
No, that's perfectly fine. That was just, like I said, that was a table I believed somebody had made a Young Frankenstein one, but it had nothing to do with Young Frankenstein. It was very, very weird. So, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but it didn't, there was no cohesion to the movie, to the table. So
that's a good way of improving on it. Is there a theme you're looking to do? I'm sorry if I asked you this before. That other than America's Most Haunted, is there some sort of dream theme? Like, if you could have a cab based on any theme, what would it be? That's actually a question I should ask more people.
I don't. My cab itself themed?
Yeah. Or let's say your cab first, and then we'll go to a table.
Right now it's themed of Elvira.
Okay. Good choice.
It looks fine. My main thing wouldn't be anything to do with the graphics or anything. My main thing would be to have a 43-inch, a full-size screen, and I have a great now. I have a great back box that just got all redone. So okay. Yeah, I mean, I would love to have a 4K 43-inch.
melt your eyes sort of thing.
Yeah.
So is there a table theme that you'd love to work on in the future, other than maybe Ratfink?
I already have a Ratfink table out there.
Oh, dude.
That needs a lot of work. That is an old one.
Gotcha.
But it still looks it looks cool, but it needs a lot of work.
Nice.
Yeah, everything I do is pretty much something just pops in my head, and then I go, okay, let's do this. Let's try this. So you said Ren and Stimpy. I mean, that's a great table that could be done. I mean, there's all kind of cool ones.
That would need a pup pack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Come on, I absolutely would need a pup pack. Hey, look, when I was saying about pup packs, right now I love all these third screen pup packs. I think that's the key. That's the most realistic that we could have, is to have a static back glass with all the pup stuff going on the third screen like a real machine does.
Yeah, I think those conversions for full DMD users, where they allow you to have the amazing back glass art from the original tables, like you look at a Ghostbusters or something, where you can put the back glass on and have a pup pack on the third screen, is just awesome. I love those conversions. It really makes it's weird. It's kind of harder for me to look at the back glass when I'm playing than it is the actual full DMD, because this line of sight is a little bit lower. And ideally, someone did make this for real pins. There's a screen they put in the center of the lockdown bar, and you can have whatever's playing on the full DMD in front of you on the lockdown bar. But that's an expensive conversion, and I don't need that right now. So,
Terry has something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of the pin event stuff that he does, where there's like videos on the play field, sort of those. I forgot what he called them, the screen names, but it has like on Jaws, it had it like in the upper right, it would play videos on a little sign or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, what's VP can do it now. VP can do that, but a lot of people aren't utilizing. I don't know why. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that could be doing, you know, that type of stuff, more visual stuff on screens, and you know, just think about if doing the Stranger Things and doing it like the real pin, where it projects the screen.
Yeah, that would be super cool. And I see like Team Toogood has the videos on the apron cards, so that's like a cool thing. I know the new Fathom remake is putting that on the bottom right, the Mermaid Edition. That's pretty cool. Well, we've had a chat. We've been able to celebrate you. I really want to thank you again for being here. You did an awesome job. You make my job easy doing this, and I hope we were able to show you that we do appreciate your contributions and your work. It's a blast for me to play this stuff and to talk to you about it. Does anybody have a question for Mr. Hauntfreaks before we let him say his final words and we say goodbye to you and let him sleep?
Sleep. Sleep.
If nobody has anything to say, please feel free to say anything you'd like right now while we wait for some questions.
Come on, mock me. Something.
I know, right?
Something.
They've let you off easy tonight. They said, "What's next?" Retro Geek says, "What's next?"
Oh, he knows what's next.
Is he trolling? Is he trolling you? Oh,
no, it's easy. Yeah, right.
Here's a question from Hollywood. Have you seen the final fan-made Dungeons and Dragons cartoon on YouTube? I have not.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, Hollywood. We don't. We need a ZZ Freak table. Yes, I have a question. How long is that beard gonna get?
When I had long hair, my hair grew slow, so my beard's growing just as slow.
Well, it's awesome.
When will I be shaving? Not anytime soon. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, this is all out of laziness. I can't stand shaving.
Well, we hope it stays. I think it's an awesome look. Feel free to say anything you'd like right now. The floor is yours.
Well, I'm glad that some people came in to see me. I can't wait to go back and actually read all the comments that I missed. And I think it's awesome that people like you, like you, Dave, and I don't know his real name, but the guy from Living Arcade, you're my 3 favorite people on here. And I mean, and none of you could be any nicer to us. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous how nice you are to us. So,
well, it's our pleasure. Nailbuster, Living Arcade, awesome guys. All the VPin streamers. I hope you guys check everyone out so that you guys can see the amazing creations that people like yourself give us. You do it for free, which is crazy to me. The amount of work in this hobby that people do for free is staggering to my mind still, because it's such good work and it's just such quality work, and we really appreciate it. So thank you again. You've been awesome to have. Thank you for coming and talking to me on camera and audio. I think it adds a little bit of interactivity, and you did a great job. You really did. So thank you. All right, everybody.
Hollywood. It would be the hell, Metallica. That's my
yes.
That's probably one of my favorite. That's the one. If I'm gonna put on something, it'd be that or AC/DC.
Yeah, that Lucy edition, the whole experience is just such a frickin'. And I love.
If people have never played a real Lucy, you got to play a real Lucy.
Yeah.
The real Lucy's is the shit.
And I will say, if you've got DOF lighting, play AC/DC because it's such a cool light show as well. Very cool stuff. Thank you again, everybody.
Okay,
we're gonna find somebody to raid. Thank you, Hauntfreaks, and I'll see you guys later. See you next Tuesday.
See you, man. Thank
see
you.
You, man.
Eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your body, shit it all out. You take some chocolate and some lobster and some eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your body, shit it all out. You take some chocolate and some lobster and some eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your body, shit it all out. You take some chocolate and some lobster and some eggs and some pie, and then you mix it in your body, shit it all out. You take some chocolate and some lobster and some eggs and some pie, and then you